Hello and welcome to Dialogue's Spring Festival special program. The Spring Festival marks the celebration of the Chinese New Year and is one of the most important festivals in China and around the world. In December last year, UNESCO added the Spring Festival to the list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. To celebrate this, the Chinese Traditional Culture Museum in Beijing is currently showing a special exhibition called the Themed Exhibition on Spring Festival Celebrations. Let's find out more about this special event and also about the special craftspeople in China called Cultural Heritage Inheritors, who carry on ancient cultural craft making.孟主任你好，你好，谢谢，
欢迎，
好的，咱们去看看。孟主任你好，
你好，
我们知道今年有一个以春节为主体的这么一个展览哈，
对，
给我们介绍一下为什么会想着做这样一个展览，到底想传递一个什么样的信息呢？
是这样，因为春节呢是咱们中华民族最重要的，也是最隆重的一个传统节日。这个春节啊，它承载着非常多的这种各地的这种不同的民俗活动。像大家在展览里应该也能看到，像我们这种各类的各地的灯俗，还有我们很多剪纸、年画，还有很多像我们的祭祖，包括我们做的这个祭灶，各类的这种民俗活动，都是我们春节丰富内涵的一个体现。它也是我们非常重要的非物质文化遗产。我们馆呢，作为中国非物质文化遗产馆，本身就承担着说向社会、向公众，然后传播我们非遗，对，传播我们中华优秀传统文化的这么一种职责。所以我们这个展览一直是在策划中，但是呢，因为春节啊，它内容很庞杂，怎么着用一个就是体系化的内容把它阐释出来呢，也是一个挑战。我们一直这个事儿在考虑怎么做，结果今年呢就有一个特别好的契机，就是我们这个春节列入了这个就是人类非物质文化遗产代表作名录。这个契机非常好，我们想借着这个契机呢，把整个春节的相关的这种文化内容做一个整体性的梳理，展现给大众。而且这不也要过年了嘛，也希望这个节日本身呢，这个展览本身呢，能给大家传递一种就是积极向上、红红火火过新年的这么一种场景。所以这是我们整体的策划初衷。然后我们这个展览呢，是把就是国家非物质文化遗产代表作名录里边的120余项非遗项目，然后做了一个整体的梳理，然后按照一条春节的这个故事线做了一个串联。所以我们能看到，你像第一单元我们讲的是辞旧迎新，然后第二单元呢我们讲的是阖家的欢聚，第三个呢其实我们讲的是说整个的这个就是第三、第四讲的是普天同庆，还有就是全民共庆的这么一种氛围。其实它就是相当于是一个从人与自然到人与家庭再到人与社会的这么一条线。我觉得这是我们展览
很明确的一条线，
是一条很明确的线。就是我们这个展览那个主题的选择叫过年，所以这个就是想契合我们普通老百姓最朴素的这种愿望。
对，
你像我们这儿写的是回家，这个地方是团圆饭，还有一个那个春晚的这个专门制作的春晚的纪录片，
对，
相当于让大家就能
传统之一了。
没错。
好的，谢谢孟主任。
哎，您客气。
谢谢您。Now here we are in the stores of the dough figurines. We can see the dough figurines in the form of a variety of things, rabbits, monkey king, flowers, vegetables, of course, historical and cultural figures. And beside me is Mr. Chen, who is a cultural heritage inheritor of dough figurines. And also joining us are Flora Liu, founder of Joyview Education, and our longtime friend Einar Tangen, who is from the Taihe Institute. Welcome. And Mr. Chen, as I understand, he's going to show us how to produce this vivid, people like dough figurines. Ready for the challenge?
Yes, we're ready.
陈先生，请你给我们介绍一下，以及教我们怎么做吧。
我是陈氏面人的第5代传承人。这个陈氏面人在我们家传承了200多年。这个我今天带了，这是我们那个圆面。对，你可以看一下。
圆面
这是最原始的原生态的面，这个面要经过发酵5、6年之后才能达到这个程度。 柔韧性、可塑性是最强的时候，最好的。
那发酵好了以后，5、6年以后就可以拿来做、
对，就可以拿来用，可以做，可以做小的。但是我们这个发酵好之后，最好的面我们能做大的，能做到好几米，3米、5米的都可以做。
And imagine it's like a 3-meter stall or 5-meter stall.
Yeah, but I mean the detail. I mean the mail on the legs and things like that. And every single detail is incredible.
And you can see the facial expressions of these figurines, very vivid.
那你今天要教我们做个什么呢？
我做个小茶壶吧。
小茶壶。
平时我们都生活具体做的都
OK，teapot。
We'll make a teapot。
我们都是喜欢来了客人了
喝茶
喝茶，对不对？我们今天就做一个小茶壶。
这个放回去
啊，可以。
From what I've seen, it's a combination of something that's been around a long time. It developed a very specific expertise. I mean, how to make the dough, how to shape it, all of the elements that go into it. But there's also a deeper cultural meaning. And is that the essence of intangible cultural heritage?
这个历史应该已经有将近2000年了，是不是？应该是最早是汉代传下来的。
这个史书记载是汉代，但是我们陈氏面人，我们面人，其实在我们家，我们老辈人，我们敬的祖宗是人皇爷。因为学捏面人的时候，刚开始学的就是尸骨铜金。第一步就先让你背这些从盘古之间分为天地。人皇女娲捏男女，就是人皇女娲娘娘捏泥人
捏泥人那时候开始的。
反正我们敬的就是人皇爷做老祖宗啊，就是以前不管每个行当每个门他们都有他们的祖先。你像木工，他们敬的是鲁班。
Wonderful stories and also wonderful figurines. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Thank you for your time and
谢谢陈老师。
Your lesson.
谢谢陈老师，不客气。谢谢。
Let's demonstrate our products, I guess. Okay, we are in the new store with traditional Chinese ink impression. Sitting beside me is Mr. Baoguo, who is the cultural heritage inheritor of the traditional Chinese ink impression, and he will show us his techniques. 狄先生，你给我们介绍一下这个最早是从怎么来的？我们为什么要去印呀？要去这个印个画呀、印个字啊什么的？
咱们这个传拓技术是最早的时候是在咱们中国的这个晋朝和隋朝之初就有这种形式。真正的出现实物拓片的时候，是在秦国的时候，那个秦穆公，在甘肃省一个出行游猎图。他这个隋朝呢，就把他这个君主的这种出行游猎图就是一个重大记事。他就回来以后就把它刻到这个12面这个石鼓上。对，但这个石鼓呢在山里边，它不方便于这个人的这种观赏。后来就有人就发明了这个传拓的这种技术。对，就把这个石鼓纹呢，就把它传拓下来，回到这个拿到这个皇家里边，它的这种阅读、书写、游览、吞食，是这种的那么它历史的这个最开始的这个历史的目的，就是记事、颂因功德，
就容易记下来这样。
对，传拓呢，就是把它拓下来存实，学习书写到了这种形式呢，就让这个文人墨客和皇家的这些体面人、贵人们，感觉到这种很好，他就达到形成了一个是吧，风魔一时，把它推崇的影响的更广，传拓技术一代一代这就开始传下来了，也就成为最早的复印技术。咱们这个拓印这个技术呢，从模具，就是咱们准备的这模具，到宣纸，到拓包，到印盒、印盘，到这个 喷壶
啊
到这个棕刷，
棕刷
啊，对，这是需要一套流程用到的工具。上纸、喷湿，打纸，到上墨到成型，这是一个流程。咱们开始从这个一步步，咱们做一套啊。哦，是的。对，这是蛇年大节。
好。Year of Snake.
Good luck. Auspicious.
Yeah.
Oh. Cultural heritage always goes back to a beginning. Like you said, this was a way of spreading knowledge. This is your Gutenberg press. Yes.
Practical purpose.
Yeah.
现在还有一些新的，像这熊猫啊或什么，这是后来咱们自己做的这种文具是吧？
啊，对。
这是
你比如说这个黑神话的孙悟空。
Black Myth. 悟空。This is a fashion.
踏出来的这个效果的，这就是在这上踏出来的。
This is a Black Myth 悟空。
Do they teach this in like kindergarten school or grade school? Because both of these intangible heritages are actually very accessible to children. Yeah, and I assume that to keep it alive, you have to teach it to the next generation.
我爸呢是第2代传承人嘛，我跟着我爸开始学这个。刚才那个还有我家那个小朋友，就是一直也在，他的也很好的他算是第4代了。
他是第4代。
So both of these intangible heritage are actually living. They're actually being taught in schools, not mandatory, but elective. If you like it, you can try it.
Yes.
Even
in some international schools, they have elective courses like this.
Access of Chinese culture, part of the culture.
Because Chinese parents hope their kids can, pick up the baton of culture and traditions.
All right, let's show our product.
Masterpiece.
How much we have learned. Character of Fortune and Year of Snake. Yeah. All right, so we have Mr. Chen, Mr. D demonstrating for us how to make a dough figurine, the ink impression, and we tried ourselves. So, Flora, I will start with you. So what's your impression?
That was more fun than I thought. It was very easy to get started, but in order to reach that level of intricacy, you need a lot of practice.
Well, when I was little, I played with Play-Doh, which is similar but has completely different, and I wasn't very good at it. And I was surprised I was able to do anything, but it was fun. But what it did to me is you start to wonder, why is this intangible heritage?
Good question.
And it goes back to this issue about what's behind it. All right. Now, obviously, the printmaking. This was a way of, communicating, taking the books, as you were telling me about that, and then the Play-Doh. These were actually, they would be talking and making these figurines, and then they would put them on sticks, and they'd use them like puppets, and they would tell a story, and each one had some sort of meaning. So it's the length of time over which these developed. And as you pointed out, it's the craftsmanship that is necessary. It's not, our teapots were great, yours was better, but they weren't like his. and you could see the delicacy of his movements and how he was able to, in a few short strokes, kind of like good painting. A few strokes can convey a lot of meaning. So really great stuff.
As you mentioned about this dough figurine. So in practice, they basically, while they are making, these figurines, they sing at the same time. They sing with historical stories. They sing with folklores. This is a lot behind the technique itself.
Yeah, it's just how old. It's ancient.
It's ancient, more than 2,000 years.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard sometimes to explain that to newer cultures.
Right.
You know, if you're only a few hundred years old, it's just like, well, I don't know what the big deal is. But when you start thinking that this was done 2,000 years ago and that's continued on, and that it is literally part of your culture.
You know, Flora, as you mentioned, it's more than 2,000 years ago. Now, here's a question, you know, is this still relevant today? I mean, with modern technology, with, you know, we're living in a time of social media, right? People with a mobile phone.
And yet, LPs, vinyl has made a comeback.
Yes.
No, there's always something in what's old.
Yeah, I think it's still relevant, but it's definitely more challenging to engage young people in the traditional folk arts. Thanks to the attention economy, you know, young people's attentions are occupied by different screens. So it's really hard for us to focus on making the artwork on our fingertips. So it's more challenging than before. But I see the values of preserving those traditional arts because I felt like connected to our history, and I felt like I reached a state of mindfulness while making the artwork. It was a beautiful state. So I want to encourage more young people to devote more time to making the folk arts.
I agree. I mean, just simple things, you know, the whole process. You want to do this? Well, you need paper, so somebody has to make the paper. Right. You need ink, somebody has to make the ink. All right, and then there are the techniques. You noticed he was excellent at just a few strokes. He could get the relief. He knew how to brush it off, when to take it out, using water on the stone to make the impression greater. These are all step-by-step processes arrived at over, you know, many hundreds of years, perfected over time.
I mean, it's great to see Mr. Chen and Mr. Di. They are basically, in the Chinese, there's an official title for the cultural heritage inheritor, granted by the national government for their ability or for their role as a custodian to a specific tradition inscribed in the UNESCO Intangible Heritage List. I mean, this is the way probably to preserve and then carry forward those intangible culture.
There's also something else about Chinese culture that I've always found interesting. Coming here from a newer culture in the United States, I started learning about the classic books, the Book of Rites. Yeah. The idea that you repeat and that you create a chain, all right, connecting you and what you do to the past. And I see a lot of this is very similar to that. You know, when you can get a child to sit there and say, you know, 2,000 years ago, a child like me was doing exactly the same thing, and we've continued this, and I don't want to break it. And when they're adults, maybe they encourage their children to do the same.
You want to cherish, you want to carry on, and you want to preserve.
People, we were talking earlier about intangible. You know, what does that mean?
Yeah, what is intangible? Something
you cannot touch,
not physical.
You cannot see.
But you can't touch or hold history.
Whole history.
Yeah.
But you feel the connection to history. Just by making the dough figurines or ink impressions.
Exactly.
It felt like you are embarking on a time machine. You're traveling back time.
UNESCO just inscribed Spring Festival, probably the biggest festival in China, I would say, or one of the most popular
in the world.
Definitely
festival.
In the world.
In the world,
at least in China, you know.
No, definitely the whole world.
Yeah. How do you see, Einar? You have been in China for many years, many Spring Festivals, right? How do you see this recognition of the Spring Festival, you know, for all humanities, you know, as part of this intangible cultural heritage here?
Well, I mean, it goes up and down. I mean, there have been periods when people were very interested in China. It was very open. There was a desire to learn more. Before I came here, I was chairman of the largest Pan-Asian group in my state. And we always held a Spring Festival because it's not just China. They have different versions throughout Asia. Yeah. So this is something that is shared, and there's correlation to other countries, religions, beliefs, faiths, you name it. There's always a sense of renewal, all right? And how do we recognize that the year has changed and hope for better? Yeah. And this is something that is shared, but China has a longer history, a continuous history of celebrating this. And it's really something that the world needs. When we're, you know, as you're talking about, when you say, oh, I've been part of a chain for 2,000 years, it helps center me on terms of who I am. But if we can get humanity to start enjoying the same things, it would be really, it would be beneficial to everybody, because we realize that we don't need to kill each other. We can actually be happy together.
Yeah, celebrate and be happy together.
Win-win.
How do you look at it that, you know, Spring Festival now is being, in a sense, it's like a shared, owned by the world, right? As part of the UNESCO list here.
I think what we are celebrating in essence is universally shared values, like family, respect to ancestors, harmony, big harvest, and all of those great things. So Spring Festival is not just a holiday. It's a ritual to celebrate all those valuable things that the whole humanity cherish. So that's why we can see different adaptations in different countries. Like in Singapore, people would make yusheng or prosperity tossed salad to celebrate abundance. So that's their own adaptation. Right. They're adding something new to the essence of Spring Festival.
Yeah. But the spirit is the same.
Yeah, the spirit is the same. Abundance.
The culture and water are the same. They flow wherever they can,
right.
And they have an influence.
Well, a lot of practices, but some of them are common, I would say. Like, you know, in a sense, you know, the Chinese people, however far away, you will go back home to visit your parents and celebrate this moment together, you know, with your children, with your parents. It's we call it a family reunion, you know, yearly. Very important. That's also an important part of the value, basically shared by everybody, right?
It's also a time to reflect. Because when I came here in 2000, I actually went to Qinghai, which is at that time, very
in
poor.
The far western part of China.
And very barren. I mean, you go along and the hillsides are just clay and mud and things like that. Now you go back, they're all forested. It's amazing transition.
Yeah.
But I saw a guy standing by the side of the highway next to a house. And I said, he's smiling. And I thought, oh, I have to stop. So I said, stop. And they're like, why do you want to stop? I want to talk to that guy. So I went and talked to him, and I said, you seem pretty happy. He says, yeah, life is great. Now, his house did not have a door. It had 2 blankets. He didn't have windows. He didn't have indoor plumbing. I saw inside the house, he only had a beaten floor. I mean, it was earth floor, okay? And he had 1 electric line coming in. And I said, well, why are you so happy? Oh, he says, this, you know, a few years ago, I ate meat once a year during the Spring Festival.
Yeah.
He says, now I have meat every week.
Every week.
Okay. And
that's a progress.
Well, and his door to his house was from here to there, to the road. So literally every time a truck went by, his blankets flapped because things like that. And I said, do you think your house is a little close to the road? He said, this road, my children walk to school on this road. They're going to get an education. I never had an education.
Wow.
Okay. And he said, the other way, I used to have to take, it was 1 day to the nearest market to take my produce. He says, there was another market, I could make more money, but it was 2 days away. So if I went there for 1 day, it would take me 5. If I went the other one, it took me 3. He says, now a truck comes by and it buys my produce for 10 times what I used to sell it. He says, I'm happy. So, you know, once you start reflecting on the way things were not so many years ago, perhaps it's time to be a little bit thankful too.
Interesting story.
That's the spirit of Spring Festival.
Yeah.
It's about celebrating the abundance and gratitude. Think about the dough figurines we made, right? Dough used to be food, but because 1 year they had a good year, they were leftover food. So they turned the food into something decorative.
Like art.
Yeah. Yeah, so the spirit of the Spring Festival is always to be grateful, always celebrating the abundance, always seeing the world from the half cup full angle, so that you are so grateful to everything and every day.
Well, speak of the celebration, I wonder, you know, which is your favorite part of this Spring Festival
It's definitely Xiaoxue, staying up to the late night of New Year's Eve with my families. We watch TV, Spring Festival Gala, eat snacks.
The whole nation will be with you, right?
Yeah, make dumplings, sharing stories of the past year, and exchange red packet. That's the best time, the family time, quality time of the year.
Mm-hmm. Einar?
I agree with you. I mean, the holidays are really about renewing the ties. Because a lot of people wouldn't see each other literally for 1 year. So they'd come back to their hometown, they have a little money, they want to have get together with old friends.
Right.
And I think that's really, to me, that's the best spirit. I don't like it when, you just buy lots of presents and give them around.
And of course, this year, what do you call the year of snake? But
wooden
snake.
Wooden
Yes.
snake.
12 animals, 5 elements.
Okay, test here for you. How much do you know? Why wood snake?
5 elements, the elements of around us that make up everything, and then these 12 zodiacs. So if you do 12 times 5, it's 60.
60.
So there's a sense that there are cycles that go around. And what's interesting, as you pointed out, in America, we've only had 4 cycles. But if you have 2,000 years, you've had a few more.
A few more.
But this really goes to the heart of civilization. This idea that over time you develop this kind of sense that things do not repeat, but they do rhyme, as many people say. So and it's very. The people, the astrologers, say that there are certain things that go together, like wood and a rabbit is a good year, all right, and metal rooster is a good year. So,
interesting.
Well, they each have different characteristics. It's kind of fun, but it also reflects, this idea that there's change and continuity.
Yeah, change and continuity.
Kind of the yin yang, the I Ching.
So. Year of snake, what does it mean? Anything special of this year?
Just like a snake would shed its skin, right? The year of snake symbolizes renewal, transformation. So this is the perfect timing for us to make new plans, to open a new chapter of life. So for me, I decided to write a book this year. I'll try.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Renewal,
and also because I'm an educator, I've been helping students achieving their dream in the past 8-10 years. So for this year, I hope I can make some personal achievements. So I'm actually applying to a second master degree in education this time, because last time it was journalism. So I hope that I could study education from a systematic level, so that I could empower more students. So this year I really want to grow, just like a snake would shed its skin. I hope I could have new skins.
But at the beginning of the year, you always start with hope. Yeah, hope that the year will be good, that the harvest will be full, that the health of the ones you love will continue. So we should always begin the new year with hope. We can have fears, but our fears aren't going to help us deal with the world. We have to really hope that things will get better.
Yeah, things will get better. And then we will achieve a renewal and transformation, the positive transformation, of course, here. With that, we are concluding today's discussion. Many thanks to our guests, Flora and Einar. You can also watch us on the CGTN app on YouTube. I'm Xu Qinduo. Thanks for being with us. See you next time, and Happy Chinese New Year.